My son Kevin believed the gold in that safe belonged to him, that the house was already his future. The business I built with my own 2 hands, the house every brick of which carried my sweat. In his mind, it was already decided. The day he first said it to my face, "Dad, this house and that gold are our future now." I said nothing. I just nodded, the way I always did. But at that moment, Kevin had no idea that the safe he was bragging about to his buddies was no longer under his control. 3 months earlier, I had quietly changed everything. No noise, no announcement, just a silent decision I made during the hardest week of my life. The week I first heard, in my own son's voice, a coldness no father ever wants to hear. Let me tell you the whole story, how a father who gave every single day of his life for his son, one day quietly took the decisions of his own home back into his own hands. This isn't a story about anger. It's a story about the moment love and trust start to feel like betrayal, and about a man who, no matter how tired, decides for himself to protect his own dignity. People assume old age only leaves you with patience. What they don't know is that behind that patience, the sharpest decisions are quietly brewing, waiting for the right moment to show themselves. My story is exactly that kind. No gold got stolen, no fight broke out, just a silence that, when the time came, made its impact felt. This is the story of Frank Whitman, a father who, even after sacrificing everything for his son, refused to hand over his last piece of power, the right to decide his own life, to anybody. My name is Frank Whitman. I'm 61 years old, and I live outside Columbus, Ohio. For the past 35 years, I've run my own hardware and home supply store, started with one small shop, and over time built it into something known across 3 counties. My wife Carol passed away 8 years ago, and ever since, my son Kevin had been my support, or at least, that's what I believed. I never let Kevin go without. His schooling, his wedding, the startup money for his shop, all of it came straight out of my own pocket, no strings attached. When he was a kid, I was up at 5 a.m. heading to the store, working late into the night so he and his mother could live comfortably. When Carol got sick, I cut back my hours so I could take care of her. Kevin watched all of it, watched me work myself ragged, come home exhausted day after day. After Carol passed, Kevin and his wife Amanda moved in with me, saying, "Dad shouldn't be alone." At first, everything was fine, but over the last year, things started shifting. Amanda kept asking, "Frank, whose name is the house under? Where are the store's paperwork?" Kevin showed less interest in actual conversation with me, but he'd always find a way to ask about my bank accounts and my property like he was building some kind of list. One evening, over coffee, I overheard Amanda telling Kevin, "As long as your dad's around, we can't do anything openly." She said it as casually as talking about the weather. I was sitting right there, but neither of them noticed. I said nothing. I just finished my coffee and went upstairs. That night, I lay awake a long time, thinking about how the son I'd given my whole life for only saw me as long as a countdown clock, after which everything would get easier for him. A few weeks later, I came downstairs one night for a glass of water. The house was dark, everyone seemingly asleep, or so I thought. Kevin's door was cracked open, his phone on speaker, the voice coming through clear. I stopped, standing there in the dark, and what I heard froze me solid. Amanda was saying, "Just push the doctor thing forward." Get him to write that Frank's mentally slipping. Then the property transfer will be easy. Otherwise, your name's never going on those papers." Kevin answered, "Yeah, I already talked to Dr. Reynolds. He'll go along with it. It'll just take some time." I stood there, silent, like I'd heard nothing at all. My hand was flat against the wall, and my heart was pounding so hard I thought they'd hear it through the door. But I held myself together. 35 years running a business teaches you one thing when somebody's lying to you. The first thing you control is your own face. I quietly went back up to my room. I didn't sleep that night. Every word I'd heard kept circling in my head. Mentally slipping. Property transfer. Your name on those papers. Hearing all that, it hit me this wasn't a decision made overnight. This had been planned for months. The next day, without telling a soul, I drove out to see my old friend and lawyer, Harold Grant. I told him everything that night. Those conversations, the questions Amanda and Kevin kept asking. Harold advised me to move the contents of my safe, the store's documents, and the deed to the house into a secure trust immediately. That's exactly what I did. I set up a trust in my niece Rachel's name, with one condition. As long as I'm alive and of sound mind, every decision stays mine, and mine alone. Kevin and Amanda had no idea any of it happened. It was all done quietly, legally, within a month. 3 months passed. Kevin and Amanda's behavior stayed the same, soft on the surface. The same calculations underneath. One day, Kevin was sitting having a beer with his buddy Mark, and I overheard him say, "Man, Dad's gold and this house are our future now. Just gotta be patient a little longer." This time, I didn't stay quiet. I walked into the room and, for the first time, looked him straight in the eye and said, "Kevin, that gold isn't yours anymore." His face went blank for a second, like he couldn't process what I'd said. He called out to Amanda. The two of them ran and threw open the safe, empty. They pulled the paperwork from the cabinet. Every page, one name written across it. Rachel. Kevin shouted, "Dad, why would you do this? This was supposed to be ours." I answered calmly, "Rights only exist when the intentions behind them are honest, Kevin. I heard that night you and Amanda plotting to falsely claim I was losing my mind just to cut me out of the paperwork. That's the day I understood to you. I wasn't a father. I was just a file, kept open for a signature." The room went dead silent. Amanda cried. Kevin sat there, head down. For weeks, the house stayed quiet. Kevin tried talking to me, but I gave him space. No anger, no forgiveness, handed out cheap. A month later, Kevin came to me on his own. No excuses this time. He said, "Dad, I need you to forgive me. I never saw you as a person, just as money and property. That was wrong of me." This time, there was real shame in his eyes, not the calculation from before. I thought about it, and then sat down with Harold and restructured the trust. This time, with one condition. Every decision about the house gets made together, between Kevin, Amanda, and me, not behind my back. The gold and the store stayed under my ownership, but I made Kevin an equal partner in the business. Again, trust earned this time, not just given away. These days, Kevin sits with me every evening, has a cup of coffee, and asks me about stories from my life, the way he never used to before. Sometimes, silence speaks the loudest, and in time, a person comes to understand its true worth on his own.